So the big question is this: how do most agents who don't have access to the secrets that the top agents in our industry hoard to themselves grow and prosper in today's real estate environment? That's the question. And this video podcast is the answer. I'm Pat Hyben, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Rockstar Nation, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to stay to the end, where our guests will be offering a free gift. As you know, all of our guests offer a free gift, and all of these gifts can be found on the Agent Success Toolbox. You could find that by going to hybendigital.com/toolbox, or simply texting the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox to 444-999. I am going to put today's free gift in today's show notes, but if you want all of them, including gifts from most of our guests that have come on the show, just go to the Agent Success Toolbox. All right, Rockstar Nation, I got a great guest. This is going to be very intriguing and interesting for everybody to hear. I have a guest today, Mr. Joe Franklin out of Jupiter, Florida, who doesn't qualify under the traditional categories that we look for agents to qualify. He has an average sale price, let's say 3.25 out of Jupiter, Florida. He sells 8 to 10 houses a year, but he has working hard, and he has transformed his life to where it is now from what it was, and it's an incredible story. And I thought, listen, we need to get Joe on, and people need to hear and be inspired by what he has done. So I'm not gonna give away too much. I'm gonna let Joe do some talking. I'm gonna interview him. But without further ado, Mr. Joe Franklin, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Thank you, Pat. It's an honor to be on the show. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
My pleasure. Why don't you kind of give us, a 3 to 5 minute little rundown, Joe, on who you are, what your story is, and then, I can ask some questions from there, and we can talk a little bit about your success that you've had and where you came from.
Sure. Thank you. I'm a licensed real estate broker in Palm Beach County, Florida. I'm a partner and qualifying broker at Johnston Group Real Estate Services, which is an affiliate with Johnston Group Development and Construction. Johnston Group, we are a full circle development. We just went through a rebranding phase, and we actually just trademarked the term full circle development. So we are soup to nuts, conception to issuance of certificate of occupancy. So we offer development, design, build, and real estate, and I'm truly excited to be part of that team. Pat, as you know from my bio, I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And you may ask, why would somebody come on the podcast and introduce themselves in such a manner? And one reason is I know for a fact that right now people listening to the podcast are suffering from addiction. And people may be feeling hopeless, and people may be feeling despair. And I also experienced those feelings. So I want anybody that's listening that feels that way, even if you don't know, you're free to call me. My cell phone's 561-287-0085, 561-287-0085. If I don't answer, shoot a text and what it's regards to, and I'll call you back immediately. Also, being a drug addict and an alcoholic, it's something that I'm not embarrassed nor ashamed of. It's merely a fact of my life. I'm a native of Waterbury, Connecticut. I went to the University of Connecticut. I attended the University of Connecticut for 1 year as a pharmacy major, and I was basically thrown out. I got a .08 my first semester, and I did a little bit worse, believe it or not, my second semester. I got a .06. I begrudgingly moved to Florida, and I did continue my college career. I graduated from UCF with a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. Took me a short 8 years to get a degree in education. So I really wasn't setting any trails on fire as I thought maybe I would have been if you asked me a short few years ago. I got into the real estate industry originally in 2004. I was an assistant for an agent, a now friend of mine, Sonny Hamilton. I was licensed in, I believe, probably somewhere in 2005. However, I wasn't focused on doing real estate. I was more concerned with drinking and partying. And I kind of worked in the industry for a few years, not really doing any deals or any business until I believe it was probably 2007 or 2008. I was in an accident and I received a DUI. I lost my driver's license and I stopped doing real estate. So the next probably 6 years of my life was really terrible, to be honest. It was a lot of suffering. I was really overcome by addiction, drinking and using drugs. It came to the point where I was arrested. I was out on bond for possession of cocaine, and I turned myself into the Jupiter police, and I was charged for another 8 felonies, including grand theft and fraud. And that's really where my life started to change for the positive. After about probably 3 months in jail, I had a psychological change. The obsession for me to use drugs and drink were removed. And I had the opportunity, a great opportunity, to take part in a diversion program, which is drug court in Palm Beach County. Upon successful completion of the program, they dismiss all of your charges. And that's the reason why I'm a broker today. I wouldn't be able to if I wasn't offered that program. You don't have to plead nolo contendo, wait and see. You don't plead guilty and the charges are expunged. Upon completion, everything's dismissed. So I was grateful for that opportunity. I completed the program. I was admitted to an alcohol treatment facility, and I believe I was there probably for 10 or 11 months after being incarcerated for about 4 or 5 months.
All right, so you were, you spent several months in prison, and then another 14 months or so. And was this a halfway house, or was it another form of incarceration that you were in?
It was a form of incarceration. It wasn't a lockdown facility. You could leave at any time. However, if I left, there would have been a warrant for my arrest. So I was held accountable to be there. I didn't want to leave.
And most of your charges, so would you say your drug of choice is alcohol, or was it cocaine?
Alcohol. Actually, I was an opiate addict for a long time.
Opiate?
Pain pills severely. I snorted pain pills for many, many years. And
so that's
really my drug of choice.
Was snorting Oxycontin or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Percocet, that sort of thing.
Yep. Oxycontin.
Every day.
Every day for years.
And would you say you were homeless while you were snorting Oxycontin? I mean, like what?
No, I was actually never truly homeless. I bounced around. I lived with some relatives. I actually lived with some neighbors. So I was actually never truly homeless. I did come homeless, close to being homeless when I was let out of the facility, just because, I had nothing at that time.
I mean, how'd you get money to buy the pills?
I doctor shopped, to be honest. I went to multiple doctors. I got multiple prescriptions throughout the month. I filled them. I sold them. And somehow I still ran out of pills and money every month.
And then you just told the doctor you had a bad back or you had a lot of pain or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. That's
and
exactly
so,
right.
Okay. And so, but that was made up. Like right now, your back feels fine or whatever.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And the crazy thing is all of those years of pretending that I had back pain, I truly felt back pain. But you know what? What's amazing that happened? The moment that I stopped using drugs, I've never had back pain since I stopped using drugs.
tribeofmillionaires.com. Guys, write that down. Rockstar Nation got a free special offer for you. Now, I've just written a book, and it's just been published. Co-authored it with David Osborne, who's been on this show multiple times. If you don't know David, he is one of the top execs at Keller Williams Real Estate, was personally mentored for the last 2 decades by Gary Keller himself, and he's in all kinds of businesses. His bio and explanation and everything is in this book. But anyways, David and I got together. We decided to write a book. We called it Tribe of Millionaires. And I guarantee you it's going to change your life. To find out more, just go to tribeofmillionaires.com. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. Only thing we ask in return is, of course, number one, you pay the shipping. Not a big deal. But number two, that you go on Amazon and write us a review. We're really looking to get an incredible amount of reviews. And because of that, we're giving this book away for free. Go to tribeofmillionaires.com today. That's weird. I was listening to a book on tape this morning about fasting, because you know fasting is a thing, and the guy was saying the same thing. He used to be, the author of the book said he used to be 400 pounds. He used to be hungry all the time, and then once he started fasting, where you would think he would be even hungrier than hungry all the time, he wasn't really hungry. You know what I mean? And he realized that it was more of an emotional thing and more of like something to do, boredom, than actually being quote unquote hungry. So it probably applies to that too, where it actually wasn't, your back didn't hurt. You just thought your back hurted because your brain was like, hey, I want to get high. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. So I had, back in the day, I'd hired a receptionist, and she was really good, and I wanted to get her licensed. And this was in the state of Maryland, and she had been arrested for meth, and that was considered a felony. And the state of Maryland wouldn't give her a license. I've also had guests on the show. Jeff from Arizona, I believe he's from, who was able, after 14 years in prison, to get a license from the state of Arizona, but he had to jump through all kinds of hoops. So tell me about the hoops you had to jump through to get your real estate license after all this stuff. I mean, I guess it's all through that program that you talked about. It actually worked. Tell me a little bit about the program and how that helped you. Yeah, and actually it's kind of amazing in the state of Florida, Pat. The only information they ask you to disclose on the application to the state is if you've ever been convicted of a felony. They don't ask if you've been arrested. So for some reason, the state of Florida is not too concerned about that. And wait a minute, they say but you were convicted, right? No, I was never convicted. No, the charges were pending until successful completion of drug court, and then the charges were dismissed. So the only thing I have on my record is a misdemeanor for a DUI from the early 2000s. That's it. So that whole thing with the possession of coke and the fraud and the theft and all that stuff, which all stem from you getting money to buy Oxy, right? With the judge said, hey, I'm going to do you a solid. If you run through the gamut of all this stuff for almost 2 years, you won't get convicted. But if you fail, then we'll talk about a conviction. Is that how it works? Yeah. Then I would have been put back into felony court. They would have reinstated the charges, and I would have went to prison is what would have happened. Most definitely. Okay. The really ironic thing about it is I was out on bond for possession of cocaine. And of course, when I got arrested for that, I was extremely embarrassed. I was afraid. I thought my entire life had been ruined. And ironically, that charge, when I went back and turned myself in for grand theft and fraud, if I had not had the charge of possession of cocaine, I would not have been offered drug court. So, the charge of possession of cocaine led me to be eligible for drug court, which ultimately allowed me to, have myself be held accountable.
get sober, stay sober, and get to where I'm at today.
So what advice do you have for people out there, real estate agents out there that may encounter, right, a drug addict, alcoholic, who has reformed themselves, and they're, kind of on the fence. They're like, I don't know. What if they relapse? Because we all know relapse is a part of recovery, or at least that's what they say, right? And if give me some advice for people listening.
Well, to be honest, Pat, from my experience, the person really has to want it. Nobody could want it for them. And I was just sick and tired of myself, to be frank. I was over it, and I was going to do whatever it took to stay sober. When I got out of that facility, I got a job immediately. I rode the bus 5.5 hours a day to go to a job to sell auto warranties. I rented a 1-bedroom apartment with another guy. I slept on a blow-up mattress in the living room for a year. I had no money, no vehicle, no license, no real estate license, pending felonies, tax liens, 2 judgments against me. I called up my old mentor and I asked him, I knew he was still practicing real estate. And luckily for me, he was at a brokerage that was somewhat close to where I lived. And
you said,
I started tagging along with him.
And he believed in you, obviously.
He did believe in me. And the broker was great, Reese Hollyman at Logan Realty. He let me come into the office without a real estate license. He gave me a desk, and I sometimes I'd walk to the office. I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I think I had 1 pair of dress shoes. I had 1 jacket with a tear on the inside, and I would walk about 55 minutes to the office. Reese gave me a desk there. I went in, I looked at MLS, I looked at Liz Pendens, I looked at the property appraiser webpage, and I just basically try to do whatever I could do to get reacclimated with real estate.
He saw it in you. He saw it in your heart. He saw it in your eyes, and he knew. And I think it's hard, right? For someone who runs a team, right, to ask you to your face, are you serious? Are you sure you're not going to relapse? So I think that the answer to the question is actually you don't ask that. You just have to feel them out and be like, shit, if they're like Joe Franklin and walking 55 minutes every day into the office, they're serious.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was
he didn't have to ask you. He didn't even have a conversation with you about it, probably.
No, and I'm sure it was very risky for him, and there was a great amount of probably liability. So I'm grateful for that.
Wow. And then let's say, and I had this happen to me actually on my team. I had a similar thing, pain pills. One of my agents kept falling asleep. She would fall asleep at a meeting, right? At like 10 in the morning, or she would just get drowsy and inconsistent with her speech. But she wasn't like drinking, and I couldn't smell anything. And it took me a while to realize that it was pills, and she ended up like yourself going to rehab. I ended up getting a letter in the mail, that one step where they apologized to everybody. I got that. I've gotten a couple of those actually from different people in my past that have gone through the STEP program.
Sure.
What advice do you have for people running real estate teams or brokers that may suspect that one of their agents is abusing pain pills or has an issue? What would Joe Franklin tell them to do?
Well, to be honest, Pat, there's not a whole lot you can do. The person really has to be wanting to make a change in their life. A lot of times, if the people aren't at the point where they're willing to make a change, it's probably going to create some conflict. What I have done in the past is I offer people to go to an AA meeting with me. Sometimes they'll go, and sometimes people get upset that you even ask. So
your answer then is introduce them to someone else right, that's sober, that's gone through it, if they don't follow along, then it's hard to say, but it sounds like your answer is fire them.
Yeah, possibly. It could be. Depends on the person, depends on the case.
Well, I mean, in real estate, it's a risk.
Be on the table. Yeah.
I mean, you're putting people in your car and driving around and showing them at houses.
Yep.
And then you got to worry about, you put them in an open house. The same lady actually that worked for me stole Oxycontin out of a medicine cabinet from one of my sellers during an open house.
Yeah.
And you got to worry about that.
Priorities to protect the public, so you have to take that into consideration. And
they say, you really don't quit until you hit bottom, right? Till you essentially lose everything. So in essence, by firing them, you're helping them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which a lot of people, it's hard.
A lot of people continue to enable. It's hard for friends and family members not to enable because you're seeing a loved one suffer and you want to do something to help. But ultimately, most of the time, the best thing probably is to fire the person or to cut them off financially and let them hit rock bottom.
And Joe, what would you say to the states that aren't as lenient? Because you're lucky and you were in Florida. Certainly, if there, I don't know this politically, but but certainly there's states out there that wouldn't have been as lenient and would have just whacked you with a felony, or like this receptionist that worked for me who couldn't get licensed. What's your hope for the states that are not as liberal as Florida? I mean, what would you say to them? Well,
I hope that they would consider giving people a second chance. I mean, I'm a second chance guy. My whole life is a second chance. I have the opportunities that I have today due to a second chance. I mean, I'm loving life. I'm loving what I'm doing. I think I'm doing very well in a short period of time. It's fantastic, and it's all due to a second chance. I don't think that I was a bad guy. There was a long period of time where I was a liar, a cheat, and a thief, and I lost my way. And that inner voice that everybody has, some call it our conscious, some call it God. I just stopped listening to it at one point. And it's not because I'm a bad person. I changed my life around due to a second chance. And I'm trying to do the next right thing today.
And so tell me about the next right thing. Like, I know that's one of your philosophies, right?
Yeah, it is. It's about being honest. It's about having integrity. It's about living your life with principles in all of your affairs every day, even when you don't want to. A lot of times it's hard to do that, but for me, I have to do it because if I don't do it, I'll end up right back where I was.
And where does your business come from today?
My business comes from, I did a lot of rentals when I started. When I first got my real estate license back, I did a lot of rentals. Guys in the office gave me rental leads that I was very grateful for. I called Craigslist, whatever I had to do, I did it. You
were a junkyard dog.
Yeah, I was a junkyard dog. I walked to listings. I took the bus to listings. I had clients pick me up at the office and take me to listings and then have me drop me off in random places, wherever, and find my way home. But I did a lot of rentals, and I'm very lucky that I did because I built up a good base of clientele. I didn't follow up the way I know I should have now, but I'm lucky for that. So I get a lot of business from that, and I'm getting a lot of great leads from my development affiliate.
Do the math. It's worth every single dollar. That's a title of a comment that I got on my certified listing agent course from Rebus University. It's from Bill Reeg. This is what Bill says. Bill says, looking to take your listing presentation to the next level? I've closed 100 appointments since I took Pat's certified listing agent course. 5 appointments, 5 new clients, 60 days. Boom, do the math. It's worth every single dollar. Thanks, Bill. But listen, guys, I am offering this to you if you haven't already taken it, because so many brokers and teams make their agents take it before they do a single listing appointment. But if you haven't taken it, you can go to rebusuniversity.com and get it now. Now, here's the thing. For 30 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you that course. I'm going to give you the buyer agent course, which teaches you how to close every single serious buyer that calls on the phone or emails. The certified team agent course is taught by Jeff Cohn, one of America's top agents, on how to build a team from zero to hero to hundreds and hundreds of units every year, step by step. It's like a 12-hour course, plus 7 other courses. Yes, you heard that right. All for a measly $127 a month. If you were to go to Rebus University and buy these courses individually, it costs you over $10,000. But today, if you go to futureofrealestatetraining.com, that's futureofrealestatetraining.com, you'll learn what Bill Reed did, which is how to close 100% of the listing appointments you go on. Quite impressive. And you'll learn all the other incredible details provided in the 11 5-star courses that are offered. Yeah, it's like all you can eat bazaar. You go in now and you pay $127 a month. If you can eat all 11 courses in 1 month, that's all you pay is $197. This is a bargain, guys. Get it now. futureofrealestatetraining.com. Hey, Real Estate Rockstars, this is Pat Hyben, and before we jump back into today's content, I want to tell you about an extraordinary offer from an extraordinary company. I'm talking about My Outdesk. If you haven't heard of My Outdesk, basically they're a virtual assistant company, a VA company that specializes in virtual assistants for real estate agents. Yeah, I'm talking about transaction coordinators, marketing assistants. I'm talking about ISAs, inside sales agents that prospect thousands and thousands of seller leads and buyer lead follow-ups. I mean, these guys are trained in this stuff specifically. You're not using a company that doesn't know or understand real estate sales. 4 out of 5 of the top teams in the U.S. use My Outdesk for their virtual assistants. And because I know the owner, Daniel Ramsey, I've known him for over a decade, and I know how awesome and incredible this company is and how it saves agents thousands and thousands of dollars every single week and makes them thousands and thousands of more every single week, we're going to give you a $400 coupon off of your first month of a virtual assistant and give you a free book entitled Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals. So you can read it and look into it before you decide anything. It's called Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals. And you can get it real easy. All you got to do is text the word Hyben, H-I-B-A-N, to 31996. That's H-I-B-A-N to 31996. And download your free book, Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals. And don't forget to mention also that you get a $400 discount, which will give you a coupon for that when you download the book. Thank you, guys, and I hope you enjoy and make a ton of money using My Outdesk. So let me talk to you about that, because a lot of people are like, work your sphere. Everybody knew Joe, right, as this dude that was hooked on OxyContin or drunk or whatever, right? You just hung around with that crowd, and that's your sphere, right? So you get out of jail, and what did you do to rebuild your sphere to different people? And also, what did you do to overcome your reputation that you had?
Well, I just try to do the next right thing, Pat. And actually, my perception was the neighborhood where I had been living in, where I was creating so much problems in, I says, man, I thought to myself, how could I ever go get a listing in that neighborhood? Right? How everybody perceives me.
Explain it. Explain what that means. Give me details. Yeah.
Everybody perceives me as I was, a liar, a cheat, and a thief.
They knew you as that.
Yeah, they knew me as that. So, the funny thing is within the last year, I closed 3 deals in that neighborhood. When I went back to that neighborhood and I saw people were so happy to see me. I went back the first day I went back to see some people, and I had 2 women that I hadn't seen in a long time, older women, and they ran up to me crying and said, "I've been praying for you every day since you left." They couldn't even speak. They were so happy to see, and they could tell just by looking at my face that everything was different.
Because you had shaved, you've gained weight, you had a suit on. I mean, clearly, and
well,
one
I had
of the
a
things
light in my eyes.
Wow.
I didn't look like I was hopeless and desperate. They could see that I had energy. I had light in my eyes. They could see I was loving life.
And they saw that, and I think it actually helps. Like I've had a couple of recovered addicts on the show before, and they've said that it has actually helped them to embrace that their addiction, meaning to embrace it as of, yes, that was me, and this is me now. Because people automatically feel connected to them, right? Because they're not bullshitting them and it's like, I've told you about me as my worst, or you knew me at my worst, right?
Yeah.
Can only, so there's, the human being automatically feels connected to other authentic human beings, the more authentic they are.
Yeah.
And it actually helped in their real estate sales game. Right. So I imagine these ladies in the old neighborhood, they probably wanted to they would probably list with you over anybody because they were so excited that here you were with a suit and tie on and with that light in your eye and just a different person that they wanted to support the new Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree with that.
And so and that is part of your mantra now is dress for success and that sort of thing. Tell me about like how the new Joe promotes himself versus the old Joe.
Well, I really don't disclose that information too much about my past. I don't mind doing it, but I don't do it in business.
You don't volunteer it. You don't volunteer it, right?
Correct. I don't.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, as far as dress for success, if you see me out on the street, I am usually wearing a lot of colorful things. And I know, real estate's all about branding yourself. And it's just something that I like to do. I think it gets people's attention, be it my clients, city commissioners, people you're networking with, whoever it is. I want somebody to remember me after they meet me. So
what do you mean by colorful things?
Today, but I'm usually wearing a lot of pinks and purples and bright colors. So
like a pink tie or a pink suit. You have a pink pimp suit?
I have a white suit. I don't have a pink one. I could wear a pink shirt and
you got white shoes
underneath the white suit. What's that?
Do you have white shoes?
No, I don't have white shoes.
Oh man, you got to get the white shoes and the white belt and the white hat. Oh man. And all right, cool. So tell me about where you want to be in the future. Like where does Joe Franklin want to be in 5 years?
Well, this is the thing. I think my true passion is teaching. Like I said, I have a degree in elementary education. I taught 1 year at a private school. I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoy teaching. I really enjoy mentoring people. So I'm kind of excited about being a broker and taking on new agents and nurturing them and mentoring them and watching them grow. That's exciting for me. So that's something I would like to do.
So you'd like to just like the hero's journey, right? Where you succeed and continue to succeed and then build wealth and build more success and then teach others how you did the same and give them inspiration, like coming on this podcast, right? Do more of this, right?
Yeah. I didn't really want to come on the podcast to be honest. I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling anything. And it's creates a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear for me. I'm not a great public speaker, but I want to hopefully inspire, even if it's only a couple of people listening, that's fine. And plus it's good to get out of your comfort zone. And this is definitely getting out of my comfort zone. So, that's something I know for me to grow personally is something that I have to do. And that's another primary reason why I agreed to do the podcast.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you doing it, and I think you will inspire other people. You know what I mean? Because, I don't care whether you're 18 years old and you just feel like in your head that you just don't have the experience, or you're 55 and you feel like you're too old to get started, or you don't have to be addicted to drugs. You could be at any level where you're unsure. I mean, here you went from essentially being incarcerated to being a real estate agent. A lot of people say, damn, why don't you get a job, at the deli slicing meats or something? Why would you go from such a situation to such a stressful, unstable sort of job? And I think that's the point I'm trying to get across, is that if, Joe wanted to do it, so anybody could do it. I mean, talk to me about that. Like, it's clearly you had this conversation in your head, like, well, maybe I should get something a little more sure thing.
I always had a passion for real estate. It's what I wanted to do. And it wasn't easy getting relicensed. There was a lot of tribulations that went along with it. And it wasn't secure. That weighed on my mind tremendously. But fact of the matter is, I wanted it more than what was stopping me from doing it. And I just had willingness. It's something that I really wanted, so I pursued it. I wasn't going to let anything stop me.
Man, I love that about you. I mean, that shows, and I love your stories about the bus and the walking and all that. And now you have a saying, Joe, stay in the middle of it. Talk to me about that.
Staying in the middle of it's being connected. Networking is extremely important. If you asked me that 5 years ago, I probably would have told you it wasn't very important. It was more important to work hard, work longer, get as many buyers as you can, get as many listings as you can. My perception of that's changed. I think being in the middle, getting connected. I recently applied for committees through the local Commercial Real Estate Association and our local realtors board. So, I think that type of stuff is important to network and stay connected and get involved.
Just be involved in that. And how do you stay connected you got 3 listings, which is no joke, right? And in your old neighborhood, how'd you stay connected in there? Did you just go back? Did you join the HOA? What'd you do?
Basically that situation, Pat, I just went to go back to let people know I was doing okay and
alive.
To apologize for, some of the stuff I'd done. And
really,
but that wasn't really, it wasn't a business plan to go back there and get listings. It just kind of happened when I went. So
you just went back there to apologize.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, dude. Well, Joe, this has been a great story. I really appreciate it. I know this has been, uncomfortable for you and not normal. I hope I didn't ask too many probing questions that you were uncomfortable with.
No, absolutely you didn't. Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure. And Joe, everybody that comes on brings a free gift. What free gift did you bring today?
Well, I just wrote up a quick outline of 5 or 6 things that have worked for me. We talked about one of them, dressing for success. Another one is an acronym, HOW, which stands for honesty, open-minded, and willingness. Like we were talking about, stay in the middle, right? By staying connected, do the next right thing. We mentioned that. And, be uncomfortable with being comfortable.
So these are basically the Joe Franklin rules for success, guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on hibandigital.com/Joe Franklin. That's hibandigital.com/Joe Franklin. Also going to put them in the Agent Success Toolbox, which can be found on hibandigital.com/toolbox, or texting the word toolbox to 444-999. Mr. Joe, if I am ever in Jupiter, Florida, I will look you up and we'll get together and break some bread for sure.
Sounds great. Thanks, Pat. Have a great day.
You too, boss.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
Rockstar Nation, thank you for listening to Real Estate Rockstars. Listen, I need a favor. If you find this free content helpful, if you find our downloadable items from each guest helpful, please, I need you to pull out your pointing finger. Yes, the one finger that points at people, and hit subscribe. Yes, subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the better we look in the ratings, and the easier it is to get guests like Robert Kiyosaki, Barbara Corcoran, all the players that are on $1 Million listing in the different cities. All that stuff makes it easier the more subscribers we get, so please subscribe. And listen, there's a lot of places you can leave comments. There's a lot of places you can like. We're on Facebook. We have an Instagram page. Instagram page is I am Pat Hyben. The Facebook is Real Estate Rockstars Radio. Feel free to leave us comments there. The most popular form of commenting seems to happen on YouTube. Yes, for whatever reason, it's a very open environment. So just go to YouTube and go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio. Leave us comments there. Some of them we will read on the show. We love your feedback. So thanks, guys, and I hope you are having a great day. Oh, and also, listen, if you're going to subscribe and you haven't already left a review on iTunes, please do that too. Have a great day, and thanks so much, Rockstar Nation. I really appreciate you.